Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome. My name is Ryan, and I'll be presenting for my group, including Natalie, myself, Francis, and Robin. And today we're going to be talking about the predictive model that our group has created to solve a business problem and create valuable insights for a certain data set. Now let's go into that data set.
The dataset that we'll be looking at today is titled Dietary Characteristics and Ratings of 80 Cereals and was compiled by Telecom Paris, which is one of the top French public institutions of higher education and research of engineering in France. It was compiled by 3 professors there. And the data that we're looking at has to do with 80 cereals in the US market, the brands that they come from, and characteristics such as nutrition facts, along with ratings from a certain amount of respondents from this survey. Like many datasets, there were limitations and inconsistencies that we needed to look through. There were some negative values in the datasets for nutritional contents, which is logically impossible. So we assumed that the listings of less than 1 on the nutritional labels were incorrect and replaced them with zeros. This data is ambiguous because we don't know exactly where it came from and how many respondents there were, and what exactly the respondents meant by ratings. We have to assume for this analysis that the ratings are from respondents on how much they liked the cereals, but there is a real possibility that these ratings were instead health ratings. The nutritional effects that were entered also appear with serving size measurements that are not standard across the cereals. So, we transformed the data by dividing it by the serving size so we could compare all of the cereals on a per cup basis. As we looked at these data, our group wanted to focus in on a central question that could help a cereal manufacturer decide on a direction for a prospective new brand that could fulfill this demographic preferences. What we focused on was, what do these customers want in cereal? Specifically, we wanted to look at the nutritional contents of the cereals and their impact on the ratings of the cereals for this group of respondents. The variables included in the dataset include things like the name of the cereal, the manufacturer, the type of cereal, and contents such as calories, protein, fat, sodium, fiber, carbohydrates, sugar, potassium, vitamins, as well as some information on the weight and the rating that these respondents gave each cereal. As we looked at these variables, we expected calories, sugar, and salt to be positively correlated, with the ratings of fiber and vitamins to be negatively correlated. Basically, we thought that people would like sugary cereals that had high calories, sugar, and salt because people like sugar, and people would be less interested in the fiber and vitamins as a whole. We also wanted to look at the interaction hypotheses. In layman's terms, interaction hypotheses involve looking to see if certain variables are dependent on each other to affect an outcome above and beyond an additive effect. For example, if preference for sugar only rose when there was a high protein level, that could tell us something about the preferences for high sugar only when protein is present. However, we didn't expect any of these interactions. As a gut check, it didn't make sense for one of the nutrition facts to affect the others more than in an additive way. But we wanted to make sure that the data confirmed this. Now let's get to the juicy stuff. Let's look at our findings. Interestingly, we found that higher protein, fiber, and carbohydrates in cereal resulted in higher ratings, while high sugar, calories, sodium, and vitamin content resulted in lower ratings. This basically went exactly against our original hypothesis. The target group that we were looking at, we expected to like sugary cereals. However, maybe this segment valued health over taste. Maybe they are a health-conscious segment. Based on the data collected and our analysis on these data, we do have some recommendations. A market does exist for high protein, high fiber, and low sugar cereals, and manufacturers of cereals should consider this in their marketing. However, there are several considerations while looking at this data. First, we'd like to know where this data was being gathered and how many respondents actually contributed to the ratings. If it's possible to find out who responded to this survey, and a segment can be identified, we would suggest marketing healthier brands of cereals to them. However, we'd also like to conduct further market testing on the health-conscious market presented in this findings to see just how large it is, how passionate they are about the ratings that they've given, and to see whether they would be willing to look at new brands and new ideas from these brands. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time. I hope that you found this presentation enlightening. And from the entire group, we thank you for a great semester. Thank you and goodbye.